What's up, what's up? This your homeboy Maul the Pimp, aka MTP, and welcome to another special edition of the Pimpoholic TV Podcast. I got a very special guest here as always. I'm talking about when you talk Black history in Chattanooga, when you talk living legend, when you talk 5 decades of work, you're talking about this man right here. I'm talking about Larry Bear High, but y'all know him, or we know him as Bear from BARBERSHOP, straight out of Alton Park, Tennessee. Yeah. Welcome to Pimpoholic TV. I got to shake your hand, Bear. How you doing,
man?
Man?
Doing fine. Good evening.
All right, man. I'm glad to have you on here, man. You got a nice story, bro. You've been around for a long time. My mom and my dad are from Alton Park, so I always knew who you were. I've always heard about you. I've seen this barbershop since I was a kid, so I feel honored to be sitting right here in this barbershop interviewing you, man.
Good.
You know what I'm saying? I got to say that. Yeah,
All right. Thank you.
So let's go back, man. How did you even start cutting hair? Give us that rundown right
Well,
there.
I started when I was about 12 years old. My oldest brother, he was a barber, and he wasn't a licensed barber at the time. He ended up being a licensed barber, but he wasn't a licensed barber at the time. And every time he would leave the house, I would go upstairs and get his clippers and try to get me a customer. And I got pretty good at it. He was already good at it. I got pretty good at it. And I started charging my customers 25 cents a head. That's been approximately 63 years ago because I was 12 years old when I first started.
Okay.
Yeah.
So your first haircut was 25 cents a head.
Yeah, 25 cents. But that 25 cents did a lot of things. They got my lunch money, and it even helped my mother out with different things that she needed because things that in that day and time was very cheap. But that was actually the price that I started out with, charging 25 cents a head.
And for those who don't know, when you was charged 25 cents a head, what were you cutting out of? What neighborhood?
I was cutting right here out of Alton Park in Spencer J. McCauley home.
Right.
That's where we had moved there in 1957. And I started there, and I think it was probably around 1960 when I started cutting hair. Around 1959, 1960 is when I actually got started picking up a pair of clippers and cutting hair.
25 cents a head.
Yeah.
And in 1966, you graduated from high school. What high school?
I graduated from Howard High School in the year of 1966 from Howard High School. That was my graduation year.
And then what did you go from there?
Well, I went to school. I had a bad leg, and I got a free scholarship from a program called Vocational Rehabilitation. And I went to Barber College in Nashville, Tennessee.
Okay.
And the only thing I ever wanted to do was cut hair. And I wasn't worried about as far as doing the work, but I knew I didn't do what I should have done in school. So I got nervous now because I knew I got to hit the books. But every evening after I would get home and go to my room, I would get my manual, my book, and I studied. Every night I would study hard. And the lowest grade I ever made in Barber College was probably around an 89, but I was acing all of my tests because this is something that I really wanted to do. And I found out it's something that you want to do, you can actually do it.
Of course. So you go to Barber College in Nashville. Tell us, what was your first actual barbershop job, and where was it at?
Well, after I graduated from Tennessee Barber College in Nashville, Tennessee, the first job I got was on M.L. King Boulevard, which was known as 9th Street back in those days. I worked for Live and Let Live Barbershop. I worked there for 3 years before I came to Alton Park to open up my own shop. And the reason why I wanted to come to Alton Park because I know I had built up trade in Alton Park over the years. Everybody in Alton Park knew me as a barber. That's why I wanted to come back to Alton Park.
So you come to Alton Park and open up Bear's Barbershop. What year was that?
That was in March 1970. I opened up my first shop, Bear's Barbershop. And this past March gave me 52 years down here owning my own shop. 52
years, 5 decades of haircutting, man.
Yeah.
5 decades of haircutting. Now, when you opened the shop up, tell us about, what was the startup amount? What was the amount of money you used to open the shop up? Give us that.
Well, I saved, I received checks from Vocational Rehabilitation every month when I was in Barber College, and I got $97.50. That money was for me to eat off of, my dry cleaners and all that, to take care of that part. But they paid for my housing. But that's what that money was for. But the only money that you receive in barber college if you got tips, but the haircut money that went directly to the school. And I would save all of my checks from vocational rehabilitation, and I would eat off of my tips. And sometimes I might not make but 50 cents in tip. But maybe might make $1, $2, $3, and that's what I ate off. I saved all of my money from what the checks that vocational rehabilitation gave me, and I saved that money to open up my first barber shop. And I only had $700 during the time I was getting ready to open up my first shop. And my youngest brother let me have $200. That was less than $1,000 that opened up my first barber shop out here in Alton Park in the year of 1970.
So $900, $1,000 got you up and running, and off that $1,000 you've been running for 52 years.
52 years.
With $1,000 to start up.
Well, $1,000, less than $1,000 to start with, $900.
Anything is possible. Anything is possible.
Yes, it is.
Anything
yes,
is
it
possible.
Yes,
You're hearing it right here. Now, okay, the Chattanooga Barber College was downtown. Was it on Market Street, I believe?
Yes, that was I was the first African American instructor at the Chattanooga Barber College when they first opened up here in Chattanooga. Because during the time I went to barber college, it wasn't a barber college in Chattanooga at all. But Chattanooga Barber College opened up in the late 80s, and I was the first African American barber instructor at Chattanooga Barber College.
Okay. I used to go get my hair cut down there a while back when I was a kid. I'm from the west side, so we used to walk down there.
Yeah.
We used to walk down there. Now, okay, when it comes to the barber college, in the late 1990s, with the barber college, you got appointed for something. Tell us about that.
Yes, in the late 90s, I was appointed by Governor Ned McWhirter to serve on the state barber board in Nashville, Tennessee. Right. You got to be appointed by the governor to serve on the state barber board. And at that time, up until I resigned from that board, I was on African American on that board. Okay. Yes, I was on African American on that board at that time.
How did that feel?
That was the first board, and that's when I was appointed by Governor Ned McWhirter.
Okay. So being on African American on the board, how did that make you feel? Did you feel like you was talented because you was the only black, or did you feel kind of funny because you felt like black should have been
when
with
I
you?
first, came on the board, I felt a little nervous, But before I resigned, I was appointed vice president of that state barber board. I went up as high as vice president of that state barber board.
Now, in the early 2000s, you were reappointed.
Yes, I was reappointed in the early 2000s by Governor Phil Bradison. And when I walked in to meet my new board members, I was shocked. I had about 4 more African Americans on the barber board. And they placed me in my seat. I was sitting next to Vernon Winfrey. He was a barber board member. That's Oprah Winfrey's father, Vernon Winfrey. And he and I sat side by side at board meetings.
You showed me a picture of you and him.
Yeah, I got a picture of the board the last barber board where we had 4 blacks and 1 or 2 white guys on there, and we was all friendly. We was all friendly with each other. It wasn't no racism or nothing. We did a great job together.
Why do you think you was reappointed? Why do you think?
I think because of I was probably recommended. Probably some people in government here in Chattanooga probably wanted me to be re-elected, and they probably sent my name in. And they probably checked my records and all and seen that I did good on the first time, so I was reappointed.
Okay. Now let me ask you this. You told us you basically started with $900 to get started with your shop back in the day.
Yeah.
52 years ago. If you were a young guy who wanted to go into the barber business now, if you was talking to a younger brother, what advice would you give him if he wanted to start a barber business? What would you say to this guy?
Well,
how would you go about it?
They would have to really want this. A lot of people see me how I have been successful in barbering, and they think that they want to be a barber, but they think they can just start and get some barber license and just happen overnight. It don't happen overnight. It's a long process. Now, I done had a lot of ups and downs as far as finance and things like that, but this is something that you got to stick to. And if you stick to it and be on time and honor your customers, and you can actually grow in this. I've grown tremendously in this. Everywhere, I don't have to worry about no customers or nothing like that. as long as I live, I will always have customers. And once people get used to certain people cutting their hair, they don't want nobody to cut their hair but that certain barber.
That's true. That's true. Now, say if I'm a barber who I'm pretty good at what I do, but I cut out of my house. I don't have my license yet, but I got plenty of clientele that's coming to my house. Now, I go and get my barber's license. Should I go cut in somebody's shop first, or should I just keep on cutting and save my money and get my own shop and get people to pay me a booth?
You cannot work in a shop unless you have been to barber college. Okay. I started at home without license, but I found out things by learning stuff that we need, sanitation and stuff like that. I learned a lot about that. We have things now that if we cutting someone's hair and we detect any kind of something wrong with their head, tether, a ringworm or something like that, we got a chemical called barbicide. We take our clippers and clean them off and put them down in that barbicide. It kills all germs. There's too many things going on in the world today for people to be going to bootleggers and getting haircuts. They could easily come in contact with something that might even take their life.
Okay. Well, so if I go to a bootlegger versus the regular, so if I go to a regular barber and I catch a disease on my head, what's the difference?
Well, the difference is, if this barber have been to barber college, he should recognize different diseases and know what to do about different diseases.
Okay.
All barber shops should have they have a wet sterilizer and a dry sterilizer. The wet sterilizer, that's your barber side. And your dry sterilizer is like those machines right there. You put the clips on it, and that ultraviolet light, it kills germs. Okay. And whenever all this stuff is going on in the world today, all this stuff that we are living on is actually killing people, it'll be too dangerous to be going to different houses and getting haircuts.
Okay. Ready from the man himself. So this is something I didn't know right here. You have another barbershop. Right now we're at Barrel's Barbershop on the south side. That's where we're at right now. And it says Barrel's Barbershop right there on the front of the building. But it's another barbershop that I had no idea was yours. Tell me what that is.
I've been having this shop here, Barrel's Barbershop. That's my first shop.
Right.
I've been here 52 years. I got another barbershop out on Brainerd Road called New Image Creative Cuts. I've had that shop for over 25 years. And I have 5 barbers out there. And then I have a beauty salon in the shop back, and it's all separate. I've had that shop for about 20-something years. It's called Lonnie's Hair Design. That's my shop also.
The beauty shop is inside the barber shop?
Yes, but it's separate.
Right. And if y'all know what New Image is, when you come out of Brainerd, Tunnel, it's right there as soon as you pass Christie's. Before you make the left on the Tunnel Boulevard, I think?
It's next door to the Christie's nightclub, but it's on Brainerd Road and Tunnel Boulevard, right there on the corner.
I see that all the time.
Image Creative Cuts.
Never knew this was the man who owned the shop.
Yeah.
Smart, smooth, man, smooth. I like that.
Yeah.
So, what's next for Barrel, man? Do you want to keep doing this until you can no longer do it anymore? Or you want to pass this down to family members and let them take over? Like, what you see yourself doing in the future?
Well, when the TV station came here to do an interview with me, because I've been here 52 years, they want to know when I'm going to retire.
Right.
And this is what I told them. It might sound like a joke, but in reality, I said it's 4 things that will kill a man. And they all start with an R: retirement, recliner, remote control, refrigerator. And I told them I want no part of none of them. I don't want to retire. As long as I'm doing things, I think work actually help people to actually live. I think that having something to do every day, it gives you something that you want to live for. But when you just retire, they think that's a good thing, retiring, but I really don't. Now, if I have to retire, I will. But my family, I got in order how they will take over my business, because they're not going to let the business go out of business. Right. They want to always keep the name Barrel's Barbershop. They have told me what they want to do and how they want to do it, and I agree with them 100%.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So Barrel going to keep going regardless, and when you finally came, the legacy will live on.
Yeah, the legacy will live on.
All right. Any closing words you want to give to the people out there, man? Anything?
The closing word: you can do it. Whatever you put your mind on, it don't happen overnight, but if you keep working at it, it will happen.
Appreciate that.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yes, sir. And there was another special edition of the Pimpoholic TV Podcast with my special guest, Larry Burhigh. This is your homeboy, Maul the Pimp, a.k.a. MTP. Make sure you go to my website, www.maulthepimp.com. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, which is called Pimpoholic TV. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter, @Maul the Pimp. Salute.